All right, we're back. Touched on the NBA playoffs there in segment one. We're going to talk about another big thing that went on this past week, the NFL draft.
There's a big surprises, actually, some of the picks.
Cam Newton, which everybody pretty much knew was going to go first. The Panthers didn't really show their hand too much, but it was pretty obvious that they were going to go that route. I don't think they should have. I don't think they should have gave up on Jimmy Clausen yet. They could have traded down, possibly, and
Drafted just a defensive player.
got it, or took Marcel Darius, who a lot of people thought could be the first pick. Now, Von Miller surprised me going second to Denver.
That's gonna be. He reminds me of Patrick Willis. The way he plays, he's always around the ball. He's got the same speed, just that kind of around the ball mentality. And they said that a lot of guys remind him of someone you saw play was Derek Thomas.
Yeah, Derek Thomas was awesome. Von Miller. One thing watching the Aggies this year or this past season, and as they became, a really good football team. They beat Nebraska. They beat some quality teams out there.
They actually got hot
when Ryan Tannehill took over. But aside, really, Tannehill stuck out. But even in the big games against Oklahoma and Nebraska, he didn't really play that well, and their defense was outstanding. They held Oklahoma to, I think, 18 points. And that says a lot because Oklahoma racked up a lot of points, and they held Nebraska to 6.
Yeah.
It was their defense, and Von Miller was by far the best player on their defense. Every game I watched, and living here in Texas, we saw a lot of Aggies games. And, being from Big Spring with Ryan Tannehill, a lot of us kind of started watching because he went to Big Spring High. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see that happen, and he was really their best player, I thought, Von Miller. And I thought it was a good pick. I thought it was a surprise pick.
Thought they were going to draft defensive lineman, but...
I thought they were going to get Darius, who went next to the Bills. And he's just, that guy's massive, and he's something else. I saw him on the show, Sports Science, that Lucas got me hooked on, and he did some stuff on there he tackled the dummy, and the tackle force was 3,600 pounds of force. And they said, just to put it in comparison, that I think it was Ray Lewis that they said, Ray Lewis or Woodley, Ray Lewis was like 2,800. And this kid, he's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he's gonna. The Bills are far away from being very competitive, but that's a good way to start. AJ Green went to the Bengals, which was really no surprise. Every mock draft.
They talked about that for months.
Every mock draft had him going there, especially with the situation with.
Owens.
Owens is not coming back. Chad Johnson's still under contract, but they're not sure if he's going to be on the team anymore. And they got the Carson Palmer thing, which they addressed in the second round. Patrick Peterson to the Cardinals.
That was a very good pick.
And safe pick. And the next pick is the one that really kind of blew my mind. Was the Falcons traded up? Not only that they traded up to get Julio Jones, but they gave
up 5 picks, didn't they?
My goodness, they gave up their first this year. Well, they swapped their first and their second this year, and they gave up their first, and I want to say their second again next year. But I know they gave up their the first round of their next year, and I think 2 second-round picks and like another 4th-round pick or something. That's just obscene for a guy who's known to drop passes.
And Roddy White was one of the best receivers last year. It doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense to go and draft another receiver.
Yeah, I didn't understand that pick at all. Aldon Smith going to the 49ers. Your team, you weren't very happy about it, but all the guys on the I never seen Missouri play
defense, but I never saw him play, so that's why I wasn't happy.
And as much as college football as we watch, and we're in Big 12 country, for some reason I never got to see Missouri play, and which I find odd.
There was a good pick. They said they were high on him, so
they didn't go to the quarterback, which I thought.
I also didn't know who Patrick Willis was. At 5-straight Pro Bowl, so.
Jake Locker, kind of early, what a lot of people had going to the Titans. Obviously Vince Young's days are over. Teron Smith, safe pick for the Cowboys, offensive lineman at USC. And Blaine Gabbert, who many thought went as high as 1, went to the Jags. I don't want to go over all of them here, but some surprising ones. Christian Ponder,
that was
going 12 to the Vikings. I think that's an awful pick. I might be wrong.
Barely going to the Lions. That's defensive line.
We talked about that when I told Lucas who they drafted. I was like, Ndamukong Suh and Fairley. I think the Lions are going to the playoffs this year if Stafford stays healthy.
And another speaking of defensive lines, the Buccaneers. I don't want to go too far now, but Daquan Barrett dropped to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think.
And their defensive line They got Gerald McCoy.
I'm saying.
They got Daquan Bowers. They have just their whole defense line's young.
Yeah, and they have a good young quarterback, good young running back in LeGarrette Blunt. Mike Williams had a huge season as a receiver. Still Kellen Winslow. They actually drafted a tight end. Also, a very good tight end. I can't find it. Might have been third round. Right third round down. I'm slacking. But the Bucks are on the way up. Raheem Morris is a good coach.
They went 10-6 last year.
Yeah, they were just. I mean, they
just a game away. I mean, there was a tough division.
They
were a tough division.
actually were almost it was either them or the Packers that were going to go in, and thank God the Packers went in because I don't think the Bucks could have made a run like that. Robert Quinn went to the Rams. He was suspended for the year. Him and a couple of kids from North Carolina took some trips and missed the season.
They were pretty high on him too.
And yeah, with him and Chris Long on the other end, the Rams already, one game away from making the playoffs last year. That was a good pick. The Dolphins picked Mike Pouncey, not a sexy pick, but that's what a lot of people said was a great pick. They needed a center, and Maurice Pouncey did pretty good for himself.
Well, there was 7 quarterbacks drafted in the first 2 rounds. Was that what it was, or 6?
I think there's only 6. You got Cam Newton, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, and then we'll breeze through here. And then Jimmy Smith going to the Ravens, I think, is a great pick at 27.
Yeah, defense was again one of the top defenses in the league.
It was funny. They said they slipped to 10, which I thought was actually kind of funny because that's the lowest they've been in a long time. They're always up there at the top. Mark Ingram going to the Saints, I thought was a great pick. I thought the Dolphins were going to get him at 15, and then there's somebody else that I thought was going to snatch him up too. I thought the Colts were going to get him at 22, and they didn't. They went offensive line. Mark Ingram's, he's awesome. I don't know. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but they compared him to Emmitt Smith. I didn't think Emmitt Smith was going to be that great. I was pretty wrong on that. But that was a really good pick for the Saints, especially getting him at 28 and going into the second round. The Andy Dalton going to the Bengals.
That's probably sparked a little controversy because the Carson Palmer thing. It's almost like they're starting to take it serious by drafting a quarterback.
Well, they talked to Marvin Lewis, and he said every time he talked to Carson, every time he talked to him, he's like, Carson's pretty set on retiring. So it looks like, because they're not going to trade him, so it looks like they're going to let him retire, and he'll be out for a year, and if he wants to come back, he'll be a free agent. So, I think the Brown family should
just trade him. There's no point.
Eat crow and trade him. Let him go. The guy's still got some years left in him, and let him go somewhere else. You guys tried. I think 9 years. It didn't work. Let him go somewhere else. I hate how owners do that, but then again, if you trade away every guy that wants to be traded, Ocho Cinco or Chad Johnson tried to do that a few years back,
they didn't
trade him, and actually ended up having the best season that they had. They went 11-5, I think, that year. Daquan Bowers, 51st pick to the Bucks. You mentioned earlier he was slated sometimes as high as 1.
Yeah.
But then he had some knee issues. They think he might have to have microfracture surgery, which is what Greg Oden had, which
that's worked out.
Is really bad. A couple of the notables. Akeem Ayers from UCLA, who I thought very highly of.
Yeah.
He slipped in the second round, went to Tennessee. Colin Kaepernick was a guy that they thought might have, that's the 6th quarterback there, that they thought might have won the first round. Some teams, he graded out pretty high. He did good in the Senior Bowl.
He went to the 49ers.
And he went to San Francisco. There's another one that jumped out at me on that second day. Mikel LeSure going to the Lions. He's a running back.
Yeah, he slipped pretty far. I thought he was.
And they thought he might have been picked before Mark Ingram. Brandon Harris went to the Texans at 60. He was slated as first rounder at cornerback out of University of Miami. He was slated as a first rounder. A lot of mock drafts that I looked at. Ryan Mallett, who the reason why I really continued to watch, because there was basketball going on too, and it was more intriguing than the third or fourth round of the draft. He slipped all the way to the 79th pick, 72nd pick to the New England Patriots. A guy who basically said character issues. He had immaturity, underage drinking. And what else was it, Lucas? They said he got into a fight. He got into a bar fight, underage
There's been
drinking.
accusations of him being drugged.
And, they said Dan Marino had drug problems, and 5 quarterbacks got drafted before him. You saw that worked out for the Dolphins. I think it's ridiculous that he slipped that far. I think he was the best quarterback coming out. I watched him play in the SEC against Bama, Auburn,
Yeah.
and I think it was the Bama game where he wowed me. He threw a couple picks but he was outstanding. He was fired up, good leader, cannon of an arm, 6'7", and now he's gonna go and he's gonna sit.
So he might be in the best situation of the all 7 quarterbacks that were drafted.
I think Andy Dalton was going into a pretty good.
I want to get into that, but Mallett's going to sit behind Brady, who arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the past 10 years.
You saw that work for Matt Castle too.
Yeah, he's going to a system with a coach and a team that's, again, probably one of the best coaches and teams in the last 10 years. And he's going to sit there, he's going to learn, and Brady's going to make him learn. Brady's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. He's one of the most intelligent. He doesn't make mistakes. And when you sit behind a guy like that, he's gonna learn a lot, and I think he'll be fine. They could, if something, God forbid happens to Brady, not come in and do what Castle did.
What Castle did, and then they can trade him away and get a first-round pick.
What they did with Castle.
They're smart. They know what to do. I mean, they cheat, but whatever. They're a high-character team. Really, you always say they have a good locker room presence.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, aside from the Spygate and whatever else that people think that the Patriots have done, which ironically they haven't won a Super Bowl since then. But it's always, a lot of people always say that it's the character in the locker room. I think that can help Ryan Mallett, and I think he should have a chip on his shoulder, and I hope he does, and I hope that he proves a lot of people wrong, because the Dolphins traded up in the second round, and nothing against Chad Henne, but I was hoping that they got Ryan Mallett because I think he's just much better than Chad Henne. But they drafted a running back instead, which basically shows the end of at least Ricky Williams or Ronnie Brown in Miami. But I thought that was the big surprise to me, was Ryan Mallett falling as far as he did. It just goes to show that he, as good as an athlete as you can be, Lucas, that if people think you have character issues, they don't care how good of an athlete you are. And I think it's a shame, because I think the kid I think he can be a bona fide star in the NFL. He makes every throw that you need to make in the NFL.
Yeah.
And because of what, whatever, underage drinking, I mean, what kid in college does not drink underage? That's ridiculous. Cam Newton stole a laptop. I'd rather have somebody that drank at 19 than somebody that stole a laptop. So.
Yeah. Aside from that, I think he's probably in the best situation, aside from guys like Kaepernick and Gabbert. Gabbert gets to sit behind David Garrard, he's not a great quarterback.
He might even start.
But he's going to learn behind Garrard, and Kaepernick has weapons. It's Crabtree, Vernon Davis, Brandon Gordon's got a good defense, a new coach who's worked good with quarterbacks. I just think those 3 guys will probably have better careers than the other guys.
And Dalton will get a chance to start, and he has Shipley, Green, Gresham at tight end, and also Cedric Benson coming back. That's a pretty good situation there, too. He's following up a pretty solid quarterback for years, but I think Andy Dalton and the Bengals will be all right, too. But that's it. That's it on the draft. We're going to take another break, and we'll be back with a couple of new things that we thought of.